What's up, gamers? This is NGG here with another review for you. This time it is for Atelier Ryza 3, Alchemist of the Nth and the Secret Key. So this is the third Atelier game there is, so this completes the trilogy. Hopefully. I don't think there are any more Atelier games coming out for Ryza. They might do spin-offs for maybe her children or children that belong to this franchise, but Ryza herself, I believe, is done. So I want to talk about the game. I am going to talk about the game, gameplay, story, and I will give you a rating. With Atelier Ryza 3, there's so much to talk about in this big game. So we're going to get into story. I'm not going to spoil a lot of the story, so I'm going to keep story short. What we know is that as soon as you turn on Atelier Ryza 3, something bad is already happening to Kurt Island. So as soon as you get there, these islands appear, and it is now summertime. So these games usually take place in the summer, and Tao, one of her friends, was coming for a vacation, and these islands appear out of nowhere, and you're trying to solve the problem as why these islands are appearing out of nowhere, and other people come from other worlds. They're like, look, you're messing up our trading, and so you're tasked to just figure out how to get rid of these random islands that appeared and how to fix everything that's gone wrong since those islands have appeared. Also, as soon as Ryza has defeated the first set of enemies, she gets like these headache things of like these voices talking to her in her head, and the voices are kind of suggesting to her that she needs to find the key to open a door. And when she's in her alchemy studio making something for somebody else, she realizes that she could make this key, and she produces the alchemy key in her alchemy pot for this key. She doesn't know what it's for. She just knows that the things are coming to her in her head. She's getting like these weird headache type things since these islands have appeared. While she's investigating these islands, they do find a door that leads the use of the key, but the key itself duplicates, and it is telling them that she knows there's something behind this door and that she needs to open this door, but she can't seem to get it to open, and she thinks it's the way to solve all of Kirtland's problems. They really need to get rid of this island because they're not supposed to have these islands. It's messing up with her hometown island, and so they need to get rid of these islands that have appeared out of nowhere. And that is how the adventure begins, with this secret key that leads to this mysterious door. And that's the basic gist of it. I don't want to get into too many other story things, but that's the basic gist. You're trying to figure out why these islands have appeared. You are with your friends. The friends from the first game are all in the very beginning, and now Bose is a playable character, so that is nice. Now, let's get into gameplay. And with gameplay, there is way too many things to talk about, but I will try to condense this down for you guys. So let's start off with gathering. Because she's an alchemist, everything you make has to be gathered. Has to be gathered. And with this, like, you want to kind of use the skill tree right away to upgrade your gathering, because the better gathering you get, the better stuff you get picked up, the more stuff you can pick up. So I made the mistake and didn't work on the gathering part first, and that was the biggest mistake, because this game took me way longer to beat because I didn't work on like the skill tree gathering stuff first. I was working on some other parts of the skill tree, but gathering is what you kind of want to work on, because the higher quality items, the more you can make, because you don't need as many pieces of equipment when you have low level stuff. So that's why you want to work with high level ingredients and high level things, because you need less of them to build better and bigger equipment for whatever your needs are. And in the Atelier, you can also build your equipment. And so you have to keep building all your stuff, because sometimes building equipment, a new recipe will unlock. And sometimes you need to open like 3 different recipes to get some recipes that are for your armor and your equipment. So that's a thing that took me forever to figure out. And so with gathering, you are definitely building your Atelier up. And in this game, you can build the Atelier up a lot of different ways. You can build it like I built it, and I didn't build it for gaining SP points, which are the points you need for the skill tree. I built it for like treasure hunting and stuff, so I can see all the treasure hunting on the map. Also, biggest mistake I made, if I ever did this game again, definitely would make it so that I am working on getting SP points for my skill tree, so that I can build that skill tree up faster, so I can go through the game faster or get better equipment faster. I didn't do that. I was doing the treasure hunter route, and I think I made the biggest mistake. But you have ways to upgrade this later on in the game, where you can add different rooms that do different things. But in the beginning, I should have just focused on SP, and I did not. So definitely you can build up your Atelier. You can get different rooms, which is nice, because I knew I couldn't do it in the secret series. I couldn't figure out how to build up my Atelier, but I'm glad that I was able to do it in this one. I was able to build up my Atelier, able to dress it up, decorate it and stuff like that. So that was super nice. So in this game, they brought over a lot of the maps from the other games. So you have your main map of Kurt Island, then you go to another region, so you unlock a map for that region. You go into the underworld and one other region. I forget the name of that region, something with an S. But there are 4 big maps in this game. So this game is pretty big and hefty. And in order to traverse those maps, you have to get keys, special keys to unlock it. Unfortunately for me, I was never able to figure out that part of unlocking the routes and getting all the keys for different routes. So that is the one major part I missed out. Maybe I'll go back later and try to figure that out. But obviously, you don't need to do that in order to finish the game. There were some side quest storylines that were hidden behind those gates, so I did miss out on those. And speaking of side quests, there are so many side quests. So you have the main quest, which is in its own little ranking line. Then you have character side quests. Then you have like people side quests that they give you like a list of things to do. Random side quests. Random side quests, like you could just be walking and just a random side quest. Like at the end when I was playing, I was like, alright, I'm not doing any more of these random side quests. The only time I would stop to do those random side quests is when like a face would pop up with the side quest, because that usually meant that the person with that face that popped up with that side quest was going to get some kind of buff, HP buff, XP buff. Like they would get some kind of permanent buff if you did it. So I would definitely work on those when I saw like the face random quest, or the random quest that would give me lots of SP I would work on. But at the end there were just so many random quests, and those don't go on like a little list, whereas the character side quest, the main story quest, and like there were like 2 kinds of character side quests. One that were for fighting, so like you had to do different things in alchemy and in fighting for your characters to be built up a little better. And I didn't focus too much on that page, but I did focus on the side quests that would move up the story. So like you would see like these pink bubbles in your map, and that was a random side quest that would have storyline side quests. So I was focusing for sure on all of those, because those would have cutscenes, different things to do to activate more cutscenes, and I wanted to be so enveloped in the story of Ryza. I was going hunting for all those little pink bubbles that I could find, so I could do all those storyline side quests, so I can see how like they put so much into this game. I can see why they skipped Ryza for 1 year because they were working so hard on putting so much stuff in this game. The other thing we have to talk about is in gameplay is battling. So the battle system hasn't changed too much. It took me a little bit to get refreshed, and certain things don't unlock until you reach certain levels. So you use like these fatal attacks in game, and you can only get that, I believe, after you turn level 50. So some things were locked behind level walls, and some things were locked behind, like, you had to progress in the story for enough to open more battle mechanics. So there were so many battle mechanics you had in this game. I think that's why I got lost in this game, is because I did quite enjoy the battling, but again, with me not leveling up my SP points and the skill tree, I had whack weapons, and for a long time it would take so long just to kill like these random enemies. I started skipping the random enemies, which don't want to do because they give you ingredients, so you want to kill at least a few of every kind, because some kinds have specialty ingredients that you can't find anywhere else. But I would skip them, and then I would go on to only the ones that were storyline or random quest with the bubbles, and they would like have like the ones with the side quest would have like a 4-step process. So you'd beat one group of things, and then another group would come out, and then you beat that group, and then another. It would be like a 4 or 5-step process, and the enemies would get harder. So these battles would take sometimes for me 10 to 20 minutes and just one side quest storyline. So it took me 108 hours to beat this game with doing all the side quests, all the storyline missions, building up my characters. Now, that's all for like gameplay, story, and let's get into a rating for you guys. So I love these Ryza games, and this one was the hardest to figure out for me. A lot of things they don't tell you. You have to figure it out. I don't like to look up anything. I used to like to play my games without looking it up. At the end, I had to look up where certain ingredients were to upgrade my equipment. So for that, I'm going to give Ryza a 4.8. The game was great. Storyline was great. Ending was good. But I didn't like that I couldn't like look it up in my little notes, because if you never came across it, you can't find it in your notes. And and then when they showed you, it wasn't detailed on where to find it. So I had to go up to these YouTube channels and pinpoint where these items were. And sometimes it'd be like only 3 things that you had to hit in like a group of so many things around it, that how would I know to hit those specific 3? So that I didn't like, that they hid certain alchemy ingredients in like very secluded places. But other than that, I really enjoyed the game. If you have not played the Ryza games, definitely play from 1 up. Do not skip. They give you a little quick synopsis in the beginning, and that's how I did it for the people who were watching me stream. But I think playing the game, these games are fun. This was my longest game. The other one, first one took me 50, second one took me 80, and this one took me 108. So definitely a great series. To top it off, I loved how it kind of ended. Wasn't expecting the way it ended, so I was super satisfied with the ending. But I'm hoping that if you guys played it, you guys are enjoying it. Tell me in the comments below if this is something you'd pick up, if this is something you've already played and enjoyed, what your thoughts are on the game. Thank you guys for watching. Happy gaming, guys. Bye.